Every man wants to be unforgettable, to be the one a woman thinks about constantly, the man who occupies her mind long after you've left. Obsession isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding female psychology and creating attraction that sticks. It's about becoming a man who naturally draws attention, respect, and desire, making her feel a magnetic pull toward you without forcing it. Many men make the mistake of trying too hard, overtexting, overexplaining, or overcommitting. But obsession grows from subtlety, confidence, and emotional mastery. The truth is, women are wired to notice energy, behavior, and consistency more than words. A man who is present, confident, unpredictable in small ways, and emotionally engaging triggers the chemistry that keeps a woman hooked. She may not even realize why she's drawn to you, but she feels it deeply. It's not about tricks or gimmicks. It's about embodying traits that naturally create emotional and psychological pull. In this video, you'll learn 7 core strategies that will make a woman think about you constantly, crave your attention, and feel genuinely excited to connect. We'll cover how to balance presence and absence, create emotional highs and lows, spark curiosity, build subtle sexual tension, and become someone she values deeply. Each section will give you actionable insight rooted in psychology, showing how to turn attraction into obsession without losing your dignity or control. By the end, you'll understand exactly how to create a magnetic presence, maintain her attention, and make her want you in a way that goes beyond surface-level attraction. This is about influence, connection, and emotional pull. 1. Master your presence. Presence is more than just showing up. It's the energy you carry when you're around a woman. A man who commands attention doesn't need to speak loudly or dominate conversations. His presence alone signals confidence and control. Women are highly sensitive to energy. They notice subtle cues in posture, tone, eye contact, and movement. When you master presence, you communicate strength, stability, and charisma without trying. She feels your energy even when you're silent, and that's what begins to create obsession. Start with how you carry yourself physically. Stand tall, maintain open body language, and move deliberately. Every gesture sends a message. A man who is relaxed yet intentional in his actions signals that he's in control of his life and emotions. Women are drawn to this because it creates a sense of safety and reliability combined with intrigue. Presence isn't just about the way you move. It's about how you occupy space. You don't need to fill every moment with words or actions. Calm, grounded energy is magnetic. Eye contact is another critical element. When you look a woman in the eyes, hold her gaze just long enough to create connection without making it uncomfortable. Your eyes convey confidence, curiosity, and subtle dominance. Women subconsciously notice this, and it can trigger emotional engagement on a deeper level. A brief, intentional look communicates far more than words ever could. Your tone of voice also impacts presence. Speak slowly, clearly, and with purpose. Men who rush their words or raise their volume frequently appear anxious or needy. Calm, measured speech communicates confidence and control, which keeps a woman engaged. When your presence is grounded, she senses stability and security, 2 things that naturally increase emotional attachment. Another layer of presence is emotional energy. Stay composed even when she teases, flirts, or challenges you. Calmness under social or emotional pressure signals strength. Women are drawn to men who remain stable while others react impulsively. That emotional control makes her feel both intrigued and safe at the same time. Presence is also about attention. When you're with her, give her genuine focus. Listen actively, respond thoughtfully, and maintain engagement in conversation. Women pick up on authenticity quickly. If you're fully present and invested in the moment, She will sense that you value the interaction. But balance is key. Don't overinvest. Presence is magnetic when it's combined with independence and mystery. Subtlety is critical for building obsession. You don't need grand gestures or constant affirmation. Small, consistent signals of engagement, like remembering details she mentioned, showing slight emotional reaction at the right moment, or maintaining relaxed confidence, create a lasting impact. Women notice patterns and consistency, and repeated exposure to positive, grounded energy makes her think about you even when you're not around. Mastering presence is the foundation for every other strategy. It's not something you can fake. It comes from self-awareness, confidence, and emotional control. A man who is fully present naturally becomes a figure of curiosity, respect, and attraction. Women start noticing the way you carry yourself, the subtle energy shifts, and the emotional stability you offer. That's the kind of magnetic presence that keeps her thinking about you long after the interaction ends. When you combine presence with emotional engagement, playful challenge, and subtle tension, you set the stage for obsession. 2. Create emotional highs and lows. Women are drawn to men who make them feel alive, and nothing triggers emotional attachment faster than well-timed highs and lows. This isn't about manipulation, it's about creating a dynamic that keeps her emotionally engaged. When she experiences excitement, curiosity, and slight unpredictability around you, her mind starts to attach to the emotional journey you create. She begins thinking about you even when you're not around, because her brain associates your presence with intense feelings. Emotional highs come from moments of genuine connection, humor, and admiration. Compliment her thoughtfully, make her laugh, or engage her in a story that excites her imagination. Highs make her feel pleasure, curiosity, and joy, which creates a subconscious link to you. But to create obsession, highs alone aren't enough. Emotional lows, moments where you pull back slightly, remain neutral, or create distance, trigger a desire to regain your attention. This ebb and flow builds intensity and deepens attraction. Women naturally respond to emotional contrast. Timing and subtlety are essential. Overdoing highs or lows can feel fake or forced, which diminishes attraction. The key is natural variation. Share moments of warmth and attentiveness, then step back and let her reflect on the experience. For example, after a great conversation, give her space instead of immediately following up. That gap allows her emotions to simmer, and she starts replaying your words, tone, and energy in her mind. The anticipation of your next interaction becomes addictive. Playfulness also enhances emotional contrast. Tease lightly, challenge her opinions respectfully, or introduce small surprises. These interactions create unpredictability, which women find stimulating. When she can't predict exactly how you'll respond but still feel safe, her emotional investment increases. Emotional contrast doesn't mean being cold or distant constantly. It means controlling the rhythm of connection to evoke intrigue and desire. Consistency matters as well. A one-time high or low won't create obsession, but repeated cycles over time will. Women notice patterns subconsciously. When your presence alternates between engagement and subtle withdrawal in a controlled way, she becomes emotionally attached to the experience rather than the moment. She starts craving your energy because it produces emotional stimulation she can't get elsewhere. Another factor is emotional mirroring. Respond to her moods authentically. Show empathy when she's vulnerable, but don't overcompensate. Balance validation with calmness, creating a sense of security while still allowing emotional peaks and valleys. This combination triggers strong neurological responses, including dopamine release, which reinforces attachment and makes her think about you constantly. Emotional highs and lows are also built through lifestyle. When you're passionate about your life, focused on goals, and simultaneously capable of playful spontaneity, you create natural highs. Moments when you're fully engaged, yet occasionally unavailable, produce the lows she subconsciously craves. The tension between attraction and slight uncertainty builds an irresistible pull. Mastering emotional contrast means controlling your energy without forcing reactions. The goal isn't manipulation, it's creating a dynamic where she experiences excitement, curiosity, and desire consistently. Over time, this makes her think about you constantly, anticipating interactions, replaying conversations, and craving the emotional stimulation you provide. Obsession grows naturally when a woman associates you with both thrill and emotional engagement, and this rhythm is what keeps her invested in ways that are deep and lasting. 3. Maintain mystery and independence. One of the most powerful ways to make a woman obsessed is by remaining mysterious and independent. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a full life outside of the relationship or connection. A man who is constantly available, predictable, or fully transparent from the start loses intrigue quickly. Obsession is fueled by curiosity, and curiosity thrives in the presence of mystery. When a woman doesn't know every detail about you, when she senses that you have your own goals, passions, and boundaries, she becomes more emotionally invested in discovering who you are. Independence is key. A man who is busy, engaged in meaningful pursuits, and emotionally self-sufficient demonstrates value without trying to prove it. Women notice energy, not effort. When you have hobbies, ambitions, and friendships that you actively cultivate, it signals that your life isn't dependent on her attention. This creates polarity in attraction because she sees you as a complete man who can exist fully on your own, yet is selectively allowing her into your world. Obsession grows because she senses she's part of something valuable and rare, not just another person filling empty time. Mysteriousness isn't about being secretive or dishonest, it's about selective sharing. Don't reveal everything about yourself immediately. Let her discover facets of your personality gradually. Small hints, playful teasing, or intriguing stories without full context keep her mind engaged. The more she invests mentally in figuring you out, the more she becomes attached. Women crave depth, and when a man doesn't lay all his cards on the table, she's motivated to learn more. Your energy plays a role as well. Remain confident and self-contained, even in interactions. Avoid overreacting to her texts or messages. Respond deliberately, with calm energy and thoughtful attention. By not being overly available, you create a subtle tension that makes her think about you constantly. Women feel drawn to men who are strong yet approachable, independent yet interested, and steady yet slightly unpredictable. That balance between accessibility and autonomy is magnetic. Another aspect is maintaining boundaries. Obsession grows when a woman sees that you value your time, decisions, and emotional energy. If she notices that you prioritize your life and passions, she unconsciously wants to be part of it, rather than trying to control or monopolize it. Boundaries communicate value, stability, and self-respect, all of which enhance desire. Mystery is also built through conversation. Don't overexplain yourself or respond to every question immediately. Give answers that are intriguing, brief, or suggestive rather than exhaustive. This creates mental engagement, making her analyze your words, tone, and behavior long after you're gone. Curiosity triggers dopamine, and repeated exposure to that mental stimulation makes her think about you constantly. Independence combined with mystery also encourages emotional contrast. When she experiences your warmth, attention, or approval intermittently, it creates highs, while your independence creates the lows that keep her emotionally invested. The interplay between these dynamics makes her crave interaction, pay attention to your signals, and mentally rehearse your presence when you're absent. Ultimately, mystery and independence make you unforgettable. You're no longer just another man in her life. You become a figure she wants to learn about, understand, and be part of. By cultivating your own life, controlling your availability, and revealing yourself gradually, you trigger obsession naturally. She starts to think about you constantly because you've created a dynamic that combines intrigue, value, and emotional engagement in a way few men can achieve. 4. Build subtle sexual tension. Sexual tension is one of the most powerful tools to make a woman obsessed, but it must be subtle, controlled, and natural. It isn't about overt advances or pressure. It's about creating anticipation and intrigue through chemistry, energy, and small, deliberate cues. Sexual tension keeps a woman thinking about you because it triggers desire in a way that's both exciting and psychologically engaging. When done correctly, she starts associating you with anticipation, excitement, and emotional arousal, elements that deepen attachment and fuel obsession. Physical cues play a big role. Small touches at the right moments, a brief hand touch, a playful nudge, or casual proximity create a spark without overstepping boundaries. The key is subtlety. Women notice energy and intent far more than obvious actions. A confident, gentle, and deliberate touch communicates interest and attraction without making her feel pressured. Body language also matters. Maintain strong posture, eye contact, and an open yet controlled presence. Lean in slightly when speaking, but don't invade personal space excessively. The tension arises from being close, yet not entirely attainable. Verbal cues amplify sexual tension. Flirt lightly with teasing, double meanings, or playful challenges. Compliments focused on her personality, confidence, or style, rather than just looks, create depth and intrigue. Humor combined with flirtation engages her mind and emotions simultaneously, creating a stronger connection. The goal is to make her feel chemistry and excitement, while leaving her wanting more. When she's mentally replaying your conversations, the tension builds, and she begins craving your presence and attention. Controlled absence enhances sexual tension. When you pull back slightly after moments of closeness, her mind naturally fills the gap. She begins thinking about your energy, your words, and the excitement you create. This anticipation makes her feel emotionally and physically drawn to you. The balance between attention and absence is what turns attraction into obsession. Overavailability kills tension. Strategic distance keeps her intrigued. Confidence is critical. Women sense neediness immediately, and desperation eliminates sexual tension. A man who is self-assured, comfortable in his own skin, and capable of managing his desires creates a powerful magnetic pull. Confidence communicates that you're a man who knows his value, and that sense of stability combined with chemistry makes her emotionally invested. Timing and emotional contrast amplify the effect. Alternate moments of warmth, attention, or flirtation with calm detachment and independence. This roller coaster of emotional and sexual energy stimulates her subconscious, creating strong neurological patterns that make her think about you constantly. Dopamine and desire intertwine, making your presence addictive. Subtle sexual tension also grows through storytelling, shared glances, and playful banter. Mentioning adventures, expressing passion for your life, and showing glimpses of confidence and dominance all add layers to the attraction. When combined with mystery, independence, and emotional highs and lows, sexual tension becomes a key driver of obsession. Ultimately, building sexual tension is about balance. You engage her physically, verbally, and emotionally without forcing outcomes. You leave space for curiosity, anticipation, and desire to develop naturally. The result is a woman who thinks about you constantly, mentally rehearses your interactions, and feels emotionally and physically drawn in ways that are intense and lasting. 5. Use playful teasing and challenge. Playful teasing and challenge are essential tools for creating obsession because they engage a woman's mind and emotions simultaneously. Women are drawn to men who make them feel alive, curious, and slightly off balance in a positive way. Light teasing introduces tension without hostility. It's a dance of attraction where she feels challenged, intrigued, and mentally stimulated. Challenge keeps her attention because she has to think about your behavior, your responses, and your energy. She starts anticipating your interactions and replaying them in her mind, which builds attachment and desire. The key to teasing is subtlety and context. Avoid being mean or disrespectful. Instead, focus on playful observations, gentle contradictions, or humorous exaggerations. For example, if she boasts about something, you can respond with a light-hearted, "Is that so? I'll have to see it to believe it." Teasing should make her smile, think, and feel engaged, not hurt or diminished. When done well, it signals confidence, emotional intelligence, and social skill, all of which increase attraction. Challenge works hand in hand with teasing. A woman becomes obsessed when she senses that she cannot predict or fully control your reactions. Stand firm in your opinions, express your preferences clearly, and maintain boundaries even when she tries to push or test them. Challenge isn't about arguing. It's about demonstrating that you have standards, independence, and self-respect. Women subconsciously value men who are firm yet fair because it signals leadership and emotional stability. Balance is crucial. Over-challenging or teasing too aggressively can push her away, while doing it too lightly or inconsistently can fail to spark interest. Observe her reactions and adjust accordingly. If she laughs, leans in, or engages further, you know you're creating positive tension. If she withdraws or shows discomfort, pull back and reset the rhythm. The interplay between engagement and distance is what makes her emotionally invested. Challenge also applies outside of direct interaction. Be selectively unavailable, pursue your passions, and maintain a life outside of her. When she sees that you have goals, ambitions, and social dynamics independent of her, it amplifies her curiosity and desire. She begins wondering about your world, your schedule, and your priorities, which deepens obsession. Subtle teasing and challenge create mental loops. She thinks about your clever comments, your calm confidence, and the way you handle interactions long after they occur. Her brain releases dopamine in response to these moments of engagement, creating a cycle where she craves more of your energy, attention, and approval. Over time, this psychological pattern strengthens attraction and emotional attachment. Emotional contrast enhances the effect. Alternate moments of warmth, humor, or flirtation with calm detachment and independence. The highs make her feel excited and engaged, while the lows create anticipation and longing. This interplay keeps her thinking about you constantly, even when you're absent, and fuels the obsession. Ultimately, playful teasing and challenge work because they combine intellectual stimulation, emotional engagement, and subtle tension. A woman who experiences these consistently becomes intrigued, mentally invested, and emotionally drawn. You're no longer just someone she knows. You become someone she wants to figure out, engage with, and think about constantly. When paired with presence, emotional highs and lows, sexual tension, and mystery, this strategy cements the obsessive attraction that keeps her focused on you in a deep, lasting way. 6. Spark curiosity and intrigue. Curiosity is one of the most powerful drivers of obsession because the human mind is wired to seek understanding, novelty, and mystery. A woman becomes deeply invested when she feels she doesn't fully know you yet, when there's more to discover than what's visible on the surface. Men often make the mistake of revealing everything too quickly. Stories, opinions, habits, and feelings all at once. This leaves no room for intrigue, and without intrigue, obsession can't develop. Sparking curiosity means giving her glimpses of who you are while leaving gaps for her imagination to fill. Start with storytelling. Share selective experiences that are interesting or unique, but don't tell the entire story. For example, mention a remarkable adventure without giving every detail, or talk about a passion project without explaining every step. Leave room for questions and fascination. When she wants to know more, she starts engaging mentally and emotionally. Her brain begins replaying these moments, thinking about you even when you're absent, which is the foundation of obsession. Another aspect is unpredictability. Women are drawn to men who are not entirely predictable. Show consistency in character, but mix up behaviors, experiences, or conversations in ways that make her curious. This doesn't mean being manipulative. It means being genuine, engaging, and occasionally surprising. A man who lives a rich, interesting life naturally sparks curiosity. If she feels there's always something to learn about you, she can't stop thinking about you. Questions are also a tool for intrigue. When she asks about you, don't give immediate, full answers. Respond thoughtfully, with hints or stories that tease out further discussion. Avoid overexplaining or filling silence with unnecessary words. Your calm, controlled responses make her mind work to connect the dots, which increases mental engagement. Obsession grows from the mental effort she invests in understanding you. Mystery is reinforced by maintaining independence. When she knows you have goals, routines, and a fulfilling life outside her, it signals value and self-sufficiency. She becomes curious about how your life operates, what you prioritize, and what experiences you pursue. This curiosity isn't just intellectual, it's emotional. She begins to wonder how she fits into your life, what makes you tick, and why she feels drawn to you, creating a psychological loop of attachment. Playful hints enhance intrigue. Let her catch glimpses of your personality, energy, or passions, but leave her wanting more. A brief story, a teasing comment, or a subtle reference to an exciting experience can trigger deep curiosity. Women naturally analyze these cues, replay them mentally, and anticipate discovering more. This repeated mental rehearsal strengthens emotional attachment and desire. Emotional contrast complements curiosity. By alternating attention, engagement, and calm detachment, you create a dynamic that makes her constantly evaluate her feelings and reactions toward you. The uncertainty, combined with compelling glimpses of your personality, intensifies mental focus on you, and her mind begins to loop through memories, interactions, and potential future encounters. Ultimately, curiosity and intrigue are about balance. Reveal enough to attract, but not so much that there's nothing left to discover. When done consistently, she becomes emotionally invested, thinking about you frequently, wondering about your life, and craving connection. A man who masters curiosity and intrigue creates an irresistible pull, ensuring she remains captivated and mentally engaged long after any interaction ends. 7. Become her emotional need. The final step to making a woman obsessed is becoming an emotional anchor in her life. Women crave connection, safety, and consistency. And when you provide these elements while maintaining attraction, you become someone she depends on emotionally. This doesn't mean being needy or controlling. It means creating a balance where she feels understood, validated, and excited when interacting with you. The deeper her emotional attachment, the stronger her obsession becomes. Start by being present in moments that matter. Listen actively when she shares thoughts, feelings, or experiences. Show genuine interest in her life, not just superficially, but with curiosity and attentiveness. Ask questions that invite deeper reflection and respond in ways that make her feel heard and understood. Emotional investment grows when she senses that your attention isn't just casual. It's meaningful and deliberate. Consistency is key. Women become attached to men who show reliability and predictability in emotional engagement. You don't need to be available constantly, but when you engage, make it count. Demonstrate that she can rely on your energy, your support, and your presence when it matters. This builds trust and establishes you as someone emotionally significant, increasing mental and emotional preoccupation. Emotional highs and lows amplify attachment. Pair your supportive moments with controlled independence, teasing, and tension. When she experiences the thrill of your presence combined with subtle absence, her mind forms loops of anticipation and desire. She starts seeking your attention, replaying interactions, and analyzing behaviors because your presence creates emotional stimulation she craves. Shared experiences strengthen this bond. Moments of laughter, deep conversation, or meaningful engagement trigger dopamine and oxytocin, chemicals associated with pleasure and attachment.
The more you create positive emotional experiences, the more she associates these feelings with you. She begins to see you not just as a man she likes, but as someone integral to her emotional landscape. Boundaries enhance obsession. By maintaining your own life, goals, and priorities, you signal that you're valuable and self-sufficient. Emotional dependency grows when she perceives your attention as meaningful and earned rather than automatic. Women become more invested when they feel your presence is desirable and selectively offered. Physical presence also reinforces emotional attachment. Small intentional gestures, touch, proximity, or shared experiences trigger subconscious emotional responses. When combined with your personality, attention, and emotional engagement, these physical cues deepen her connection to you. Ultimately, becoming her emotional need means balancing attention with independence, warmth with mystery, and consistency with challenge. She begins to rely on your energy, seek your presence, and crave interaction because you've created a pattern of emotional engagement that satisfies multiple needs simultaneously. Obsession grows naturally when a woman feels both excitement and comfort with you. She thinks about you constantly, emotionally rehearses interactions, and begins to integrate you into her emotional world. This is the culmination of presence, emotional highs and lows, mystery, tension, curiosity, and challenge, creating a magnetic pull that is irresistible and lasting. Creating obsession is about mastering a combination of presence, emotional engagement, mystery, tension, curiosity, challenge, and emotional anchoring. When a woman experiences these consistently, she begins to think about you constantly, crave your attention, and feel emotionally invested in ways that go beyond surface-level attraction. Obsession isn't about manipulation. It's about becoming a man who naturally stimulates her mind, heart, and emotions simultaneously. Each strategy works together. Presence establishes your value and confidence. Emotional highs and lows create intensity. Mystery and independence spark curiosity. Subtle sexual tension and playful challenge keep her engaged. Intrigue drives her to mentally replay interactions. Finally, becoming her emotional need ensures she feels attachment, security, and anticipation. The interplay of these elements makes you unforgettable, turning attraction into deep psychological and emotional pull. Men often fail because they rush, overexplain, or give everything too quickly. Obsession thrives on balance, the right combination of attention and absence, warmth and challenge, clarity and mystery.
Women become invested when they feel stimulated, intrigued, and valued simultaneously. By cultivating these dynamics consciously, you create a magnetic presence that naturally draws her in and keeps her thinking about you long after interactions end. Ultimately, the key is consistency, confidence, and self-mastery. Women obsess over men who offer more than mere attention. They crave energy, stability, emotional engagement, and excitement. Master these principles, and you will not only attract her attention, but secure a lasting emotional and psychological connection. Obsession isn't forced. It's earned through deliberate action, subtlety, and an understanding of female psychology. The result is a woman who can't stop thinking about you, desiring both your presence and the energy you bring into her life.